Hey there, Culture Warriors, and welcome back. I wanted to do something a little bit different today, and I want to talk about culture. Okay, I know what you're thinking. That's all I talk about. But bear with me. I want to talk about it in a little bit different way today. Where I want to start is how the word culture is used in athletics. You hear coaches talk about it all the time. You hear athletics directors talk about culture all the time. It has become so cliche and become such a buzzword in athletics that I wanted to kind of confront that a little bit and talk about it. Because you don't hear a lot of definition around culture. So let's do that. Let's remove some of the mystery about what culture is and what it's not. And then we'll kind of dive into the importance of culture and why it can help you. Now, definition. You can go to the dictionary and find all kinds of different definitions for culture. I didn't think any of those really kind of nailed down what we're trying to talk about here. And I think that's part of the problem. But for me, culture is the sum of the cultivated behaviors that leaders either reinforce or permit within their programs. And I use that word cultivated intentionally because culture has to be intentional. A strong culture is created by leaders based on certain values and team standards and things like that. Okay, let's put that aside for now. But I also want to point out that culture can be created by a lack of intention also. And we'll put that aside for right now. But really just kind of boiling it down. Cultivated behaviors is what your culture is. It's patterns of behavior reinforced by leaders, by coaches. It shows up in the actions of the team, particularly when the team is under pressure. But what it's not is, it's not the slogans or t-shirts or posters that you have on the wall. Now, those things can be effective tools as a part of the cultivation of this culture, but they aren't the culture, and they shouldn't be relied upon to create the culture. Let's take a step back here and talk about why it's important. Well, because coaches want to create a competitive edge, right? That's how we win. We create advantages over our competition, and we look for every little way that we can find an advantage. And that's where I see there's some danger when talking about culture, because coaches will look for advantages primarily through scheme or through technology or through analytics, and all of those things are great, but they are precision instruments that need to be there to help complement the overall program vision. Why is culture different? Okay, I think about it differently because as opposed to those things, those tools that we just talked about that are there for precision, and to create specific advantages, a well-cultivated winning championship culture will create an environment where everything in the program is better. So a clear, purpose-driven, well-led culture creates the overall environment where every aspect of the program is improved. A strong culture enhances trust, it increases communication, it increases cohesion. Accountability is done in a way that makes everybody better. People are more motivated. They're clearer on their purpose. There are just so many advantages to having a well-cultivated, leader-led, strong culture. Everything performs better. The way I think about it personally is that because it's hard to define culture, right? I mean, that's why we're talking about this today. It's hard to define it. It's hard to put your finger on it. One of the things, just from an instinctual place, that you have a strong culture is when things just move faster, right? Because people understand what is expected of them. They understand those behaviors that you're trying to cultivate. They're motivated to pursue those behaviors in pursuit of your team's vision or your team's purpose. So everything just kind of moves a little bit faster, right? So culture is a force multiplier. So when you have a strong culture, going back to those tactical tools that we were talking about, your scheme is executed better. Your talent develops faster. The benefit of those analytics is exacerbated by the fact that everybody's bought in. right? So all of those things are byproducts of having a strong culture. But that's why culture is so important, because it makes everything around your program, everything within the environment of your program is better when you do it the right way. Now, here's the thing, and I alluded to this earlier. Whether you cultivate your culture or not, you have a culture. Every team has a culture. The question is whether that culture is being cultivated for the right reasons and in the right ways, or if it's just being allowed to happen. So that omission that I was talking about before, if you don't do anything to cultivate your culture, you're still going to have a culture, but you might not have the one that you want. That's by design. So who is shaping your culture, and in what direction are they shaping it? Those are questions that you need to ask, because you can cultivate your culture or it can drift, right? Those are just the two realities. So that reality for leaders is that strong cultures don't happen accidentally. Leaders have to cultivate that behavior over time. And a good word or a good kind of phrase to kind of to consider that is doing the right things for the right reasons for a long time. That's how you cultivate the culture that you want. So when leaders intentionally define and drive their team's culture, it stops being abstract. It's clear. People understand what it is, why it's there, why it's good, and it affects everything that happens within the program. It makes every aspect of the team better if you do it right. So my question out to all the coaches out there is does your team have a culture? I think we know that the answer to that is yes. But are you cultivating it, or are you letting it drift? I would offer, if you go to my website, ianpalmerleadership.com, you'll get a pop-up there that takes you to a quick 30-question assessment of your culture. And it will give you a little bit of insight into whether you're driving your culture and what things are happening within your team that maybe you're aware of and maybe you weren't. And if you want to have a conversation about that and about what's happening within your program, I have an offer there for a free half-hour consultation right there on the website as well. So think about your culture, how it's getting to where it is now, where you want it to go. And if you want to have a conversation about it, hit me up at ianpalmerleadership.com. But thanks for joining me today. And as always, culture wins.